My power's out right now, so I'm just sitting here. There was a really bad storm, but I got nothing else to do, so I thought I had a little video in mind that I wanted to make. For, Forgive me for the terrible lighting. Just in the window right now, just staring at the sun. Which brings me to today's topic, the sun. No, I'm just kidding. But I just wanted to I wanted to make a video, because I feel like it. Um, I talked about in a previous video about like living life for yourself, believing in yourself, yada yada. Um, I wanted to make today's topic, which is kind of similar, I guess. But I wanted to talk about like being your own person and the importance of following your own path. You know, to give some context, I remember when I was like in middle school and high school, I would always, and it's still something I struggle with, which is I always felt this pressure to do what everybody else is doing, to this pressure to like fit in, to like I was always seeking external approval, external validation, and that all came from a lack of self-confidence. Um, because I always thought I was missing something. I always thought that other people had what I didn't have. Um, and that kind of caused me to like always, and this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with, which is kind of like going along with what everybody else is doing. And I know I probably talked about this a ton, but it's something that's always on my mind. I'm just like, I again, 2020, very important year for me. It was the first time that I really spent time alone. It was the first time where I really like was alone with my own thoughts. And I didn't feel this like kind of like external pressure. Um, it was the first time where I realized like, wow, I'm really miserable, and I don't want to feel that way anymore. And I realized like I always thought that like that's just how life is, you know? You just like, hey, you gotta, life is hard, which, yeah, it is. But I was really miserable. Like, I was but that misery all came from like a lack of self confidence. It all came from like not really knowing who I was and not really like having a good understanding of who I was. Um, and I'm still learning who I am. I'm still figuring out who I am. Um, but it was the first time where I felt like a person. It was the first time where I was like, wow, I want to change something. I'm not happy. I was living life on autopilot for so long that like I was like, I want to change something. I want to do something about this because it's like I don't want to feel this way anymore. It was like, wow, I do have feelings and they do. I am a person. I talked about this in another video, but you know, now I'm like, and it's still something I struggle with on a not as much because I'm aware of it now, but I realize like it's I don't need anything. I don't need all this like external stuff. I don't need all that. You don't need all this like external praise or validation or, I don't need to impress people. I want to impress myself. And that's what I kind of the message I wanted to put across is that like, oh my God, when you stop looking for other people's approval, when you stop caring what people think, which I talked about earlier, um, when you just start being like, hey, I'm not missing out on anything. That FOMO that I'm feeling, I'm not really missing out on anything. And so it's like, I'm going on a tangent right here, but like, I realized that like, oh, all I needed was just to kind of all I needed was just to feel connected to myself. I didn't need, sure, like money's great. Like, yes, and money is a big stressor for a lot of people, but I realized like all I really needed was just like myself. I needed to be in touch with myself, my true self, which sometimes I do struggle with a lot. A lot of people struggle with that, and it's like just like getting in touch with your honest, authentic self. It's like that's all I really needed, and that's when I realized like I don't need praise. I don't need to impress people. I don't need validation. I don't need anything. All I needed was myself. So with that, I realized that like I started to feel like my own person. I started to realize like, oh, these goals I have, these things that I want to do, I can do those things. Like, oh, like I can do those things. I have the ability to do those things. Like, am I gonna fail? Yeah, but I can try to do these things that I always wanted to do these things, but I just never had the confidence to do these things. And so, I just, there's something so beautiful about, and I don't mean just be a dick and just be like, oh, fuck society. I just mean like, there's something so beautiful in like, when you realize like, when you just, there's something, it's a value that, it's something I really value is just, it's something that I think is really beautiful. It's just like authenticity, you know? There's something so beautiful in it when you kind of, you're just being you. You kind of remove like, I don't know, but like there's something really beautiful in that. And it's still something I struggle with, but I'm aware of it now, and I realize like whenever that self-doubt starts to creep in, I can be like, oh, I've been here before, um, and I'll overcome it. I'll overcome it. I know I will. So yeah, I hope that helped. If you see this, then maybe I survived the power outage. Oh, you never know. Maybe this is the last you'll see of me. Who knows? But I hope this helped anyone. Um, but yeah. Yeah. Bye bye.